We should remember Lyndon B Johnson's vision.
We have some truth to share after this statement. Brandon, the ex-social studies teacher, knew exactly what he was saying when he made that statement. Let's talk about the real Lyndon Brandon Johnson, the known racist and political front to keep blacks voting Democrats for all their lives.
If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. Lyndon B Johnson said that emancipation was a proclamation, but not a fact. Lyndon B Johnson said that.
I'll have those ends voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Lyndon B Johnson said that. Son, when I appoint a N to the bench, I want everybody to know he's a N. Said to an aide in 1965 regarding the appointment of Thurgood Marshall as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Lyndon B Johnson said that.
These Negroes, they're getting pretty uppity these days, and that's a problem for us, since they've got something now they never had before, the political pull to back up their uppityness. Now we've got to do something about this. We've got to give them a little something, just enough to quiet them down, not enough to make a difference. For if we don't move at all, then their allies will line up against us, and there'll be no way of stopping them. We'll lose the filibuster, and there'll be no way of putting a brake on all sorts of wild legislation. It'll be Reconstruction all over again. That was said to Senator Richard Russell Jr., Democrat, Georgia, regarding the Civil Rights Act of 1957 by Lyndon B Johnson.
Let's face it, our ass is in a crack. We're going to have to let this N bill pass. Said to Senator John Stennis, Democrat, Mississippi, during debate on the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Lyndon B Johnson said that too. I'm going to have to bring up the N bill again. Lyndon said to a Southern U.S. senator upon the occasion of the Republicans reintroducing the Civil Rights Act of 1957, according to LBJ's special counsel Harry McPherson. You heard correctly. Republicans.
Let's pull some more receipts. As long as you are black, and you're going to be black till the day you die, no one's going to call you by your damn name. So no matter what you are called, and you just let it roll off your back like water, and you'll make it. Just pretend you're a damn piece of furniture, said to his chauffeur, Robert Parker, when Parker said he'd prefer to be referred to by his name rather than boy, N, or chief. This is a black man asking for respect. Add this is the vision Brandon coded to, as his action speaks much louder than his words, until now.
Let's sum it up with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. statements. All the talk and publicity accompanying the centennial of the Emancipation Proclamation only served to remind the Negro that he still wasn't free, that he still lived a form of slavery disguised by certain niceties of complexity. As the then Vice President Lyndon B Johnson phrased it, emancipation was a proclamation but not a fact. The pen of the great emancipator had moved the Negro into the sunlight of physical freedom, but actual conditions had left him behind in the shadow of political, psychological, social, economic, and intellectual bondage. In the South, discrimination faced the Negro in its obvious and glaring forms. In the North, it confronted him in hidden and subtle disguise. The Negro also had to recognize that 100 years after emancipation, he lived on a lonely island of economic insecurity in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. Negroes are still at the bottom of the economic ladder. They live within two concentric circles of segregation. One imprisons them on the basis of color, while the other confines them within a separate culture of poverty. The average Negro is born into want and deprivation. His struggle to escape his circumstances is hindered by color discrimination. He is deprived of normal education and normal social and economic opportunities. When he seeks opportunity, he is told, in effect, to lift himself by his own bootstraps, advice which does not take into account the fact that he is barefoot. Martin Luther King Jr. said that. Why we can't wait.
The last thing that Chicagoans want is someone from the outside of our city who doesn't know our city try to dictate and tell us what our city needs. As the mayor of this city, I can tell you that Chicagoans are not calling for military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment. What safe cities across America all have in common, they invest in people, and that's what we're doing in Chicago. We need the federal resources to make sure that we're building more affordable housing, expanding mental and behavioral health care, education, all of these things that could reduce crime and provide real community safety. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a publicity stunt to to invoke chaos and terror. The federal government should spend that money on proven solutions to crime and violence reduction. I can speak for Chicagoans. Look, Chicagoans are not asking for a militarized force to occupy our city. They're not asking for that. I can tell you what Chicagoans are asking for. They want us to build more affordable housing. They want us to invest more in young people. They want us to ensure that we're creating mental and behavioral health care services. And do you know how I know that's what they want? It's because that's what's working. And do you know how I know that's what they want? It's because that's what's working.
Here is proof of who he is.
Housing drives far too many of our families who are already unstable into unfortunate states of being homeless. And that's why my administration made an historic investment just this past week, $40 million to upgrade the infrastructure of shelters. And this is the largest investment and the first of its kind. These upgrades will create single rooms so that residents can have some dignity and some privacy as they work towards transition into their own spaces. This is critical because many unhoused Chicagoans repeatedly turn down shelter because of the conditions of our shelters. So we're serious about getting Chicagoans the help that they need, and we need to continue to make these investments in our infrastructure to provide real dignity in housing.
The migrant crisis is straining resources. The state is footing the bill for what they call temporary housing. The state is paying on the high end $9,000 in rental assistance over a 6-month period of time. With that comes help moving in and a starter kit to furnish the apartment.
This thing's long lines outside of a state resource center in Humboldt Park. This is video from yesterday of undocumented migrants lining up for health insurance, food, and money assistance. The Illinois Department of Human Services says that this program reopened for enrollment on July 1st. Now, it's meant to help victims of trafficking, tortures, and other crimes. The Department of Health sent us a statement saying that IDHS is working with our Illinois Welcoming Center partners to get the word out that individuals and families who do not need to apply in person. It can be applied for online or over the phone. If any individuals or families prefer to apply in person, they may do so at any FCRC. Also, additional waiting space has been added inside to accommodate the large number of people that will be applying.
Please tell us if you are American and received a free home from the government.
Completion of the survey does not guarantee or imply eligibility or financial assistance for the funding. The information is to collect to be used strictly for assessment and planning services. Thank you, and very much.
Thank you, Executive Director Velez, because we want to ensure that the residents of the communities that have been hit the hardest know that the full force of government will remain constant until families get full restoration. We also want to make sure that when you are filling out the survey, your documentation status is not necessary to disclose. So this is for individuals who are residents or citizens, and as well as undocumented individuals. That information will not be disclosed, so your status will be protected as the Welcoming City Ordinance permits.
And I'm going to fight and do everything in my power to make sure that we protect the sanctity of a democracy.
So the police department is under the direction of my leadership, my Superintendent Snelling. We have our own autonomy in terms of how we protect this city.
Subscribe and make sure to like and share this post, which helps to get the message spread around. Also, add your comments. We want to hear from you.